Hello everyone. This is an instructional video, a demonstration of how to use the spell check tool in Microsoft Word. So here I have a paragraph here, and you're going to use this tool to help you check spelling and grammar mistakes. First thing you're going to do is open your Word document, which I have open here, and then when you see these little red and blue squiggly lines, that means that there is something wrong or possibly some kind of mistake. And so you want to check that. So what you do is you go into Review, this Review tab up here. Right now we're in the Home tab, and we want to go into the Review tab here. Okay. And the first option here is the spelling and grammar option. So this tool here, it says spelling and grammar, typos not on our watch, let us check your spelling and grammar. So we're going to click that, and up pops on the right side the spell checker tool. And so here it gives us the first misspelled word, which is typed, okay? And so it gives us suggestions here, and the first word is highlighted, and so we can either ignore that or change it. If that's not correct and we want maybe taped, we meant to write taped, then we can just click on that. It'll be highlighted, and then we can change it to that instead. But typed is what I wanted here. It even gives us a definition, and we can listen to it.
Typed.
So there we go, typed.
Typed.
And so it gives us keyed, captured, entered. And yes, that is the correct word that I wanted. So I'm going to change that. And when I click change, it automatically changes it for us in the document. So then it goes right on to the next word. So C, I have too many E's there, so I can ignore or change C.
C.
Understand, meet, establish. Yes, that's correct, so I'm going to change it. All, again, I have too many L's there, so I'm going to change that.
All.
Altogether, everything, each, yep, change. And mistakes. Mistakes is spelled incorrectly. I have too many S's there, and so I'm going to change that.
Mistakes.
Errors, confounds, misunderstands. So change that. And now my first sentence is all fixed. It'll keep going throughout the whole document here. So underlined. Not undrained, underlined, that's correct, so I'll change that. Words, change, and me. Now me, it says that there's an error here, but it doesn't give me any suggestions, but it does tell me what the problem is here. So me is not spelled incorrectly, it's not wrong. But I do have two me's here. So I have tell me, me. And anytime you have two words repeating like that in a row, it will trigger the spell checker tool to say you have a repeated word. You might not want it there. So do you want us to ignore it? So I'm not going to ignore it. I'm actually going to delete it. And if I click delete, it will erase it for me. So see, now that second me went away, and I just have the one there, which is what I want. All right, so moving on. Spelling, it's telling me that the word I, starting out my sentence here, it should be capitalized. Now it's not that it's necessarily spelled incorrectly, but it is a capitalization mistake there. So if I want the word I, myself, me, then I need to change that. If I want the word if, in, is, or it, I can choose one of those and change it to the word that I need. But either way, it's starting out a sentence, so it needs to be capitalized anyway. And it is supposed to be the word I, so I am going to change it to make it capitalized. And now it is capitalized in the document. So moving on, need, I need to change that. Fix, I have too many F's there, fix, so change that. Mistakes, okay, I need to change that. Spelling, well, here's the word spelling right there, so I can see that that needs to be changed. Capitalization, now look at the way I have it. I have capital C, A, lowercase a, P, I, T, A, L, I, capital Z, A, lowercase a, T, I, O, capital N. Now that's all over the place, and there's no reason for that word to be capitalized. It's in the middle of the sentence. It's not a proper noun, so it doesn't need to be capitalized. And you know, for no reason do this Z and this N, these letters in the middle of the word, need to be capitalized. So it's telling me that the word capitalization is spelled incorrectly because it needs to be, the Z and the N needs to be lowercase. So I'm going to change that. And now it's going to tell me about the grammar problem. So see how it switched from spelling to grammar? So now it's going to tell me that there's an issue here with either spacing or maybe some kind of capitalization. Now this says space between words. So even though this is spelled correctly, there's a problem here. It says space between words. It looks like you might have inserted more spaces than you intended. And a lot of times when I'm reading students' work, there's either not enough spacing in between symbols or punctuation or letters or words or whatever, and it's all smushed together, or there's too much spacing and it just isn't correct. So it says instead of the line was extra long, consider the line was extra long. So take out that extra space that you don't need. And here's another example. Instead of she laughed all the way, space to the bank, sorry. Consider she laughed all the way to the bank with no extra space there. So I do want to change that so we can get rid of those extra spaces. So change, and now it took out all of that extra spacing that we didn't need. Ain't is slang for isn't, so it's telling me that the spelling for ain't is should be proper isn't or aren't. Now if we are writing a poem or we are writing an informal friendly letter or something like that, we're writing in text, a text message to someone on our phones, ain't is socially acceptable, but not in a formal writing assignment for school. So so let's not write ain't. We'll use isn't. And now it's saying grammar for that sentence. The my in the beginning of that sentence should be capitalized. Okay, so it's showing the suggestion, the M in my should be capitalized. It says capitalization, capitalize the first word of a sentence. And it gives you some examples of the first word in each sentence should be capitalized. So I do want to change that. Let's do that. Messed is spelled incorrectly. We'll change that. Again, I have a lowercase I, which should be uppercase I, so that's capitalization. We will change that. Two, I have TIO instead of TO, so that needs to be changed. Really, for grammar, again, spacing is messed up here. I have extra spacing, so spacing get needs to be fixed here. space between words. Okay, so we'll change that to get rid of that extra spacing that doesn't need to be there. Again, capitalization for the word I. We'll fix that. And again, capitalization for the first word of a sentence. That S in sometimes needs to be uppercase, so we will fix that. Now, spelling for you, again, I have 2 U's in a row. So again, it tells us no suggestions, but it's a repeated word, so we can either ignore it or delete it. We do want to delete it. We don't need when you use this tool. That's just not okay, so we'll fix that. It doesn't. Now, doesn't is spelled correctly technically with the letters. However, there should be an apostrophe in between the N and the T, and I don't have that apostrophe there. So technically it is spelled incorrectly without that apostrophe. Doesn't is a contraction for does not, and if you leave out that apostrophe, it technically is an incorrect spelled word. So doesn't needs that apostrophe in it. So we are going to change that. So now that's fixed. And we have grammar here. Again, spacing issues, space between words. We'll change that to get rid of that extra space that doesn't need to be there. And now capitalization for that word can. I have it uppercase, I have it capitalized, but it doesn't need to be for any reason. It's not a proper noun, and it's not starting in a sentence, so it does not need to be capitalized. So we need to change that to fix that there. Now, here we go. Microsoft Word spelling and grammar check is complete, and I'll hit OK. Now we're done, right? No, we're not done, because we still need to proofread and edit our own work to make sure that there are still no mistakes here. And let's read our paragraph here and see what it says. I typed this paragraph to see all my mistakes. The red and blue underlined words and spaces tell me that there are some problems. I need to use spell check to fix my mistakes. I can use spell check to help fix spelling, spacing, capitalization, and grammar errors. My grammar isn't so good sometimes. My spelling and spacing get messed up when I try to type really fast. Sometimes I forget to capitalize words. When you use this tool, it doesn't always catch every error, so you still have to read over your work and make sure it is correct. Can you find the mistakes that spell check didn't? Now, as I was reading that, maybe you did find some of the mistakes that spell check didn't, and there are many of them. There are several errors here that spell check did not catch. And so now, me as a writer needs to go and check to make sure that there are still no mistakes in my writing. And there are, so I need to fix them. So I typed this paragraph to see all my mistakes. That's fine. The red and blue underlined words and spaces tell me that there are some problems. That's fine. I need to use spell check to fix my mistakes. I can use spell check to help fix spelling, spacing, capitalization, and grammar errors. Now that C in capitalization does not need to be capitalized. There's no reason it needs to be uppercase, so we'll fix that. My grammar isn't so good sometime. Now, that is just not proper grammar. My grammar isn't so good sometimes. Okay, I even said sometimes, and then I went back and corrected myself because it didn't say sometimes. It should have, but it said sometimes, so I need to add that S on there so it makes sense. My spelling and spacing get messed up when I try to type really fast. Sometimes I forget to capitalize words. When you use this tool, it doesn't always catch every error. So okay, that needs to be fixed for sure. We don't spell the word you with just the letter U. It's Y-O-U, so now we have to fix that. When you use this tool, it doesn't always catch every error, so you still have to read over your work and make sure it is correct. Now I need to add a punctuation mark there because that is the end of the sentence, and now we are starting a new sentence. Can you find the mistakes? So we need to capitalize that C. And now we have can you find, now you again is Y-O-U, so we need to fix that there. Can you find the mistakes that spell check didn't? And now that we have used the spell checker tool, we have corrected all of our spelling and grammar using that tool, and we also have read over our work, proofread, and edited it to fix any mistakes that the spell check didn't catch. Now we are ready to submit our work for grading. Okay, so make sure that when you're looking at a Word document, you're going to go into your review tab here on the top. You're going to go into your spelling and grammar tool. You're going to use that by looking at the suggestion corrections. You're going to either ignore or change or delete whatever needs to be fixed there, any words or spaces or letters, and then you're going to proofread and edit your own work and check to make sure that there are still no mistakes that need to be fixed. And if there are, then you will fix them.